When a woman hurts a good man, she doesn't lose a person. She loses peace. She loses safety. She loses something she thought would always stay. And when that man finally stops trying, it's not loud, it's final. It's not punishment, it's clarity. And when she realizes he's not just gone, he's unreachable, that's when the real fear begins. Drop this in the comments right now. I protect my peace. Number 1, he won't come back this time. He gives everything without asking for credit, shows up without conditions, listens without interrupting, and protects without asking for anything in return. And yet, he's always the one treated like he'll never leave, like his patience is infinite, like his presence is permanent. But when he finally walks away, he doesn't leave to punish. He leaves to protect what's left of his peace, because he's been torn down, misunderstood, and made to feel like his kindness is a weakness. But what no one tells her is that good doesn't mean passive, and when good detaches, it detaches forever, not out of hatred, but out of alignment with truth, because truth doesn't chase temporary attention. It flows toward purpose, and his purpose no longer includes proving his worth to someone who saw it and still chose to overlook it. And now, no matter how many texts she sends or stories she posts, he's not watching anymore because his healing doesn't require her validation, and his journey forward doesn't include re-explaining what he made clear 1,000 silent ways. And the hardest part for her is not that he left, but that he didn't say goodbye because she expected a scene. She expected begging, expected emotion, but what she got was distance, and that distance speaks louder than any words. And now she can't call it emotional manipulation. She can't call it a tactic, because he doesn't care about her reaction anymore. His growth is independent of her closure, and for the first time, he chooses himself, not because he stopped loving her, but because he started loving himself more. And now he doesn't flinch when she brings up old memories. He doesn't shift when she walks into the same room, because his emotions are no longer tied to who she was, but who he's becoming, and becoming someone who honors his own time, his own value, his own stillness. And you know what's tragic? She thought his silence was temporary, thought he'd bounce back like he always did, thought his good heart meant he'd never detach. But she underestimated the weight of disappointment, because when someone gives you endless grace and you feed them excuses, there's a limit, even if they don't tell you where it is. And now she's facing the coldest truth of all. He's not hers anymore, not emotionally, not mentally, not spiritually, and that scares her more than his absence ever could, because absence can be filled, but disconnection is permanent. And what makes it worse is knowing she had every chance, every moment to recalibrate, to appreciate, to choose him before the damage became unrepairable. And now she's sitting in a space where memories replay like echoes she can't silence, and the places they once went feel hollow. Because it's not just about missing him, it's about missing the version of herself that felt safe in his presence. And now she's chasing that feeling through people who only offer pieces, fragments, short-term highs with no emotional depth. And she realizes too late that no one's checking in on her like he did. No one's remembering the details. No one's asking how her day went without expecting anything in return. And the people around her tell her to move on, that he'll come back. But she knows deep down, he won't, not this time, because he's tasted peace. He's rebuilt his confidence, and he's finally tapped into the strength he was always told was weakness. And now he doesn't flinch when she tries to provoke, doesn't explain when she plays the victim, doesn't correct her when she twists the truth, because he no longer needs to be right. He needs to be free. And freedom isn't found in validation. It's found in walking away with clarity and never looking back. And if you're listening to this wondering if the one you lost is coming back, ask yourself this: why would they return to a place that once made them question their worth? Why would they reopen a door that only led to proving, explaining, and overgiving? Why would they risk their healing to give someone a second chance who didn't take the first one seriously? And if you're the one who walked away, if you're the one tired of being misunderstood, overextending, giving without reciprocation, then let this be your reminder. You don't need to make noise when you leave. Your peace will speak for itself. You don't need to defend your boundaries. Your absence will clarify what your presence tolerated. You don't need revenge. You need alignment. And alignment means no longer shrinking yourself to fit into someone else's incomplete understanding of love. And this time, you don't owe anyone an explanation. Your growth doesn't require a back and forth. Your evolution doesn't need an audience, because when you know your worth, the only response is action, not reaction, detachment, not debate, elevation, not explanation. And the most powerful version of you is the one who doesn't flinch when they come back, doesn't fold when they reach out, because now you've become someone who doesn't abandon themselves just to be chosen by people who only value you when it's convenient. And if you're listening to this, feeling that sting of losing someone who once gave you everything, understand this. It's not punishment, it's a consequence. It's what happens when someone finally wakes up to their own worth and realizes they don't have to beg for the kind of love they're willing to give. And now you're faced with the reality that no matter how much you try to recreate that connection, the version of him who once waited for you, believed in you, stayed despite the damage, doesn't live there anymore. And that realization hurts more than any breakup ever could, because it wasn't loud, it wasn't final, it was silent and permanent. And if that doesn't change the way you approach love, respect, and appreciation, then nothing will, unless you finally decide to change you. That's why the Stoic Relationship Blueprint exists. It's not just a book, it's a transformation. Built on timeless, proven principles, this blueprint gives you everything you were never taught about how to protect your peace, build powerful self-control, attract respect without chasing it, and create unshakable confidence in every relationship. And now it's available as an audiobook, so you don't have to wait. You can start becoming the version of yourself you were always meant to be while walking, working out, or even on your commute. No distractions, no excuses, just pure value for the man ready to rise. This isn't just a one-time listen, it's yours forever. Which means this knowledge stays with you for life, ready to guide you every time you need it. The link's in the comments. Number 2, she can't reach him. She sits in the same place she once ignored his calls from, scrolling through messages she never replied to, replaying voice notes she used to skip over, and now she taps on his name, not to message, but to see if he's still active, still reachable, still lingering in the background like he used to when he cared too much. But the profile is cold, the chat is silent, the energy is different, and she starts to feel that creeping panic, the kind that doesn't yell. It whispers that she can't unhear, because the truth is he's not available anymore. Not emotionally, not spiritually, not even energetically. And no matter what she posts, or how carefully she words her indirect stories, he doesn't respond, doesn't even see them. And that's what cuts deeper than anything, because she used to be able to push his buttons with silence, with attitude, with half-effort replies. And he'd show up anyway. He'd reach out anyway. He'd still fight for her. But now he's gone. And it's not just the absence of messages, it's the absence of presence, the absence of care, of being watched, of being followed up on. And for someone so used to emotional safety nets, that emptiness hits harder than any breakup ever did, because this isn't just someone walking away. It's someone she once had full access to, someone who gave her every part of their attention, who noticed every change in her tone, who sent messages she never acknowledged, who stayed up worrying when she ghosted. And now he doesn't flinch, doesn't ask, doesn't chase. And the harsh truth is, he's stopped caring because he finally accepted that caring in the wrong place is self-betrayal. And this is where her regret starts, not in the loud moments, but in the quiet ones, when she wants to ask how his day went and realizes she has no right to anymore, when she wants to vent and realizes her safe space has closed its doors, when she wants to feel seen and knows he's no longer looking in her direction, and she starts testing the waters, leaving a like, commenting something vague, watching his stories, hoping he'll notice. But he's not moved by breadcrumbs anymore, because he's evolved past needing validation from people who once made him doubt his value. And this is what women don't talk about. The heartbreak that comes not from being left, but from realizing the one they assumed would always stay has learned how to live without them. And she may try to reappear, send a casual message, act like nothing happened. And when there's no reply, no curiosity, no interest, it triggers a different kind of pain. The pain of being irrelevant to someone who once made her feel like the center of their world. And now she's spiraling, asking her friends what she should say, how she should act, if he's seeing someone else, if he still thinks about her. And the answer is no, not because he's angry, but because he's at peace. And peace isn't loud, it's grounded, it's steady. It doesn't reach back into old wounds to see if they've healed. It just keeps moving forward, and she's stuck in the past. Not because he ghosted, but because she ignored the warnings, ignored the slow changes, ignored the way he stopped talking about the future, stopped making plans, stopped asking her about her day, and now she's having conversations with herself, rehearsing messages she'll never send, writing paragraphs that won't be read because she doesn't want closure. She wants access. She doesn't want to say sorry. She wants to feel remembered. But what she forgets is that he remembers everything. Every moment she dismissed his care, every time she rolled her eyes when he was vulnerable, every day she left him on red. And now he chooses distance not to punish, but to heal, because he knows that staying connected to someone who made him question his worth is self-destruction. And for the first time, he's not choosing her emotions over his reality, not putting her needs above his sanity, not chasing love that didn't make space for him. And she feels that shift, not in grand gestures, but in the absence of the small ones, the good morning texts, the random check-ins, the playlists, the reminders to drink water, the calm responses when she lashed out. And now she's calling out into a void, hoping he'll answer. But he's not listening anymore, because peace doesn't entertain confusion. It doesn't open its doors to chaos. And if you're watching this, hoping that someone who chose themselves will come back to save you from the mess you made, understand this. They already did the saving. They did it every time they showed up, every time they forgave, every time they asked you to talk instead of argue, every time they tried to meet you halfway, and now they're saving themselves. And no, you can't reach them anymore, because access isn't about connection. It's about consistency. And you broke that when you stopped trying, when you took them for granted, when you made their presence optional and assumed their patience would outlast your indifference, but it didn't. And now, the only messages getting delivered are the ones he's sending to himself, reminding himself that leaving wasn't weakness. It was clarity. It was the moment he stopped needing to be needed by someone who didn't know how to love him. And if you're listening to this as someone who's been there, who's been the one left unread, misunderstood, emotionally drained, let this be your permission to let go without guilt, to move forward without explanations, to live fully without needing to be seen by people who only noticed your absence when it started to hurt them. Because being unreachable isn't about blocking numbers or disappearing. It's about choosing a life where your peace isn't up for negotiation, where your energy isn't handed out to people who treat it like an afterthought. And once you taste that life, once you realize how quiet peace really is, you'll never go back to noise disguised as love. And you'll understand why some goodbyes aren't said out loud. They're lived, they're chosen, they're protected, and they become the boundary that saves you from ever being lost in someone else's chaos again. Number 3, he let go without a word. He doesn't yell, He doesn't slam doors. He doesn't send long essays trying to explain his side, because he's already explained himself in the silence she ignored, in the patience she tested, in the warnings she treated like noise. And when he finally lets go, it's not an announcement, it's not a breakdown, it's not a dramatic exit. It's a calm decision made after too many internal battles he never shared. And what makes it so hard for her to process is that she never thought the moment would come. She believed he'd always stay, believed she could take her time figuring herself out while he stayed planted, waiting, giving, proving. But when he walks away, there's no turning around, no hesitation, because people think love is lost in arguments, in breakups, in screaming matches. But real love is lost in apathy, in quiet neglect, in moments where the other person stops caring enough to fight, and now she's stuck in a place of shock because she never got a warning shot. She never saw the explosion, just the aftermath, and he's not cold. He's clear, he's not bitter, he's balanced, and his silence isn't meant to hurt. It's meant to heal, to give him space to remember who he was before he was reduced to convincing someone of his worth. And she sits there with her phone in her hand, trying to figure out when he changed. But the truth is, he didn't change overnight. He just stopped pretending everything was okay. He stopped hiding the fact that he was tired, and not tired like needing a nap. Tired in his soul, tired of being the only one trying, tired of pouring into someone who had no interest in holding the cup steady. And now, when she looks at him, she doesn't see a man in pain. She sees peace, and that's what breaks her, because peace is what she never gave him, and now he's built it without her. And if you think he left for someone else, you're missing the point. He left for himself, to feel whole again, to stop being questioned every time he brought up his needs, to stop being the emotional dumpster for someone who only reached out when she needed comfort. And when you're the one who's always been the giver, always been the emotional anchor, you know the cost of silence isn't small. It's everything, but it's also the only thing that works. Because explaining yourself to someone who's committed to misunderstanding you is an act of self-destruction, and he's done destroying himself for someone who only loved him in pieces, who loved his potential but not his presence, who loved what he did for her, not who he was to her. And that distinction is what frees him, because now he doesn't seek closure. He doesn't need to hear, "I'm sorry." He doesn't crave acknowledgement, because what he needed most was never words. It was effort, and now she's giving effort when it no longer matters, showing interest when the account is closed, acting soft now that his heart is hard. And it's not bitterness that keeps him distant. It's growth, because real growth is knowing who you're no longer willing to shrink for. And he shrank himself too many times, trying to keep her comfortable, and now he expands, not in ego, but in awareness. And when she sends that "hey," when she randomly checks in, hoping to start a spark, all she finds is cold. Not because he's trying to hurt her, but because the man who once waited for her response is gone, and she's talking to a version of him that no longer exists. And that's what makes letting go without a word so powerful, because there's no argument to win, no drama to revive, just a silence that carries finality. And in that silence, he finds freedom. Not the freedom to run to someone else, but the freedom to stop proving his love to someone who was never ready for it. And if you're listening to this thinking about someone you hurt, someone who used to care but doesn't anymore, ask yourself, what did you ignore? How many times did they try to show you their love before they stopped showing up altogether? And if you're on the other side, if you're the one who let go, let this affirm you. You don't owe an explanation to someone who closed their ears when you spoke your truth. You don't need to go back and relive the pain to justify your peace. And no, walking away quietly doesn't make you weak. It makes you wise, because wisdom is choosing peace over chaos, self-respect over attachment, truth over comfort. And when you live in that truth long enough, you stop entertaining people who only remember your value once it benefits them again. And that's the lesson most don't learn until it's too late. That good people don't always wait forever, that patience has limits. And when it's gone, it doesn't return with words. It doesn't reset with guilt. It just disappears. And all you're left with is a timeline full of memories and a heart that finally decided it's enough. And in that decision, everything changes. Number 4. She can't replace his goodness. She thought it would be easy to move on. She believed good men were common and emotional safety could be replicated. But as days turn to weeks and months pass by, she begins to see the truth that no one else shows up with the same energy. No one else pays attention the way he did. No one else remembers the things she only mentioned once, and she starts to notice the void in her conversations, the way her laughter doesn't come as easily, the way other people talk over her, make her feel small, make her explain things he just instinctively understood. And this is when the reality of her decisions starts to weigh heavy on her spirit, because it's not about missing the title of a relationship. It's about missing the experience of being loved fully and freely by someone who never asked her to change, but only wished she'd stop taking him for granted. And now that energy, that safe emotional space, that consistent presence she once overlooked, it's gone. Not because he disappeared overnight, but because she slowly drained him of everything he once had to give. And when he stopped giving, she realized too late that no one was lining up to take his place. And she starts comparing everyone she meets to him, from how they listen to how they respond to stress, from the way they check up on her when she goes silent to the tone of their voice when she's anxious, and nobody matches up, because what he gave wasn't just attention. It was genuine care. And she may tell herself he wasn't perfect, but she knows deep down he was rare, and the kind of rare you only realize was valuable once it's out of reach. And now she's surrounded by options, people with better resumes, more polished words, maybe even more ambition, but none of them feel like him. None of them look at her the way he did. None of them show up when it matters most without being asked. And the sad truth is, she thought love like that could be found again in someone else's arms. But now she knows. It was a one-time offer, and she didn't just lose a person, she lost access to a version of herself that only existed in the presence of that man, the version that felt emotionally safe, secure, adored without performing. And when that safety is stripped away, what's left is the realization that her next relationship might come with attention but not affection, might come with excitement but not stability, might come with passion but not peace. And that's the kind of pain that doesn't go away, because it keeps showing up in the smallest ways. When she gets sick and no one checks in, when she hits a low point and has to face it alone, when her birthday rolls around and the new guy forgets what she mentioned she wanted 6 months ago that he remembered without fail, and she starts to see the difference between being seen and being observed, between being entertained and being understood. And that's when she finally admits to herself he was different, and not in a cliché way, but in the way he made her better without trying to fix her, in the way his silence was never threatening, only thoughtful, in the way he held space when she was falling apart without needing to be the hero. And now she can't find that energy again, because people like that don't orbit your life twice. And the more she tries to find a replacement, the more she ends up disappointed, because surface-level attraction fades fast when you've known the depth of true emotional presence. And now she's left with the task of explaining to herself why she pushed away someone who did nothing but love her right. And the only answer is, she didn't recognize goodness because she never had to earn it. And when you don't earn something, you assume it'll stay whether you care for it or not. And now she lives in a world where the love she once ignored becomes the love she can't stop craving. And there's no fixing it, no apology strong enough, no makeup date intense enough, because you can't rebuild something you destroyed while pretending it wasn't special. And if you're hearing this and it hurts, If it reminds you of someone who treated you better than you were ready for, understand this. They didn't leave because they stopped loving you. They left because they finally started loving themselves, and they realized that staying in a space where their goodness was overlooked was no longer strength, it was self-neglect. And now that goodness is being poured into their growth, into someone who reciprocates, into a future where they don't have to wonder if they matter. And for you, it's time to stop hoping that what you lost will return, and start building yourself into someone who recognizes value before it walks away. Someone who stops confusing emotional safety for boredom. Someone who understands that peace isn't passive, it's priceless. And if you're the one who gave that goodness, who offered presence and was met with indifference, let this be your reminder that being taken for granted isn't a reflection of your value, it's a reflection of their blindness. And when they finally wake up, you won't be there, not because you're petty, but because your future doesn't have space for people who only appreciate you in hindsight. And for anyone listening who still thinks goodness is replaceable, you'll find out sooner or later. It's not, because there's no app, no photo, no clever message that can replace the feeling of being loved by someone who truly sees you, shows up for you, and chooses you daily without games. And if you ever had that and lost it, let this be your accountability, your wake-up call, your final chance to ask yourself why you let it go and what you're willing to become so you never make that mistake again. Number 5. Regrets start flooding in. She never expects the silence to be so loud until it becomes her new normal, until the man who once checked in without her asking suddenly stops asking how she's doing, until the one who remembered her schedule, her triggers, her fears, and the things she loved just vanishes from her world without making a scene. And it's in that unsettling stillness where the regret creeps in. Not all at once, but in layers, in late-night thoughts and quiet mornings, when no one is texting her first, when her wins feel hollow because he's no longer there to celebrate, and her breakdowns feel heavier because he's not there to calm the noise inside her head. And it's not just that he left, it's that he left without needing closure, without needing to yell or explain, or even ask her to understand. And that kind of departure stings deeper than any argument could, because it means he let go from the soul, from the part of him that used to hold on out of hope. And now she's left rereading messages she never answered, remembering conversations she brushed off, reliving the way he looked at her like she was the only one who mattered, while she distracted herself with attention that meant nothing. And the regret gets heavier when she realizes he never asked her to be perfect. He just wanted consistency, honesty, peace, and presence. And she failed not because she didn't care, but because she assumed his love was unconditional in ways no love should ever be. She assumed his loyalty meant she could delay maturity, delay clarity, delay commitment. And now the consequences of her assumptions play out in real time. He's not coming back, not even to check if she's okay. And that's when the flashbacks hit harder than anything. Flashbacks of every red flag she waved in his face while he stayed. Every time she shut down emotionally while he opened up. Every time she picked fights out of insecurity while he tried to de-escalate. And now those moments feel like heavy bricks in her chest, because she knows what she lost isn't just love. It was emotional safety. It was stability. It was a future she sabotaged with her own hands. And the cruelest part about regret is that it doesn't leave you alone. It lives in every new conversation that lacks depth, in every moment of connection that feels fake, in every man who tries to impress her with surface-level charm but can't match the calm confidence of the one she lost. And she starts trying to recreate that connection through nostalgia, through what-ifs, through should-haves. But the past doesn't cooperate with guilt. It only responds to growth. And by the time growth arrives, he's already gone, building something real with someone who understands what he brings and doesn't take years to appreciate it. And now she has to face a new reality, One where the man who knew her best doesn't know her anymore, not because he forgot, but because he no longer associates her with peace. And once someone no longer associates you with peace, they don't revisit the bond. They protect their new self from the old wounds. And she becomes that old wound, not because she was evil, but because she was careless. And carelessness doesn't get forgiven, it gets replaced. And as the regret floods in, she starts questioning herself. What was I thinking? Why didn't I just treat him better when I had him? Why did I assume he'd never leave? And the answers don't come wrapped in comfort, they come wrapped in consequences. And the only way forward now is to sit with those feelings, to own them, not escape them, because if she doesn't, she'll repeat the cycle with the next good person who walks into her life. And for those watching this thinking, you have time, thinking your kindness will always be remembered, hear this: people don't stay where they feel invisible, unheard, unloved. And if you're the one who gave your all and walked away when you were drained, know that your absence will speak volumes. Your growth will sting louder than any words could, because nothing haunts people more than realizing they had real love in their hands and let it rot while chasing temporary highs. And if you're the one regretting, the only redemption is not in apology, it's in transformation, in becoming the kind of person who never again mistakes patience for weakness, who never again pushes away someone who's only ever tried to love you gently. And for everyone who's still hurting from letting the wrong one go, use that pain not to self-pity, but to self-correct. Write down what you missed, what you ignored, what you failed to protect, and become the version of yourself that the next real one won't have to heal from, because pain teaches, and regret is the proof that you knew better too late. But wisdom means doing better even if you're too late for them, because the goal isn't to win them back, it's to never need to feel this kind of regret again. If you're tired of being told to just be nice while getting nothing but disrespect in return, this is your wake-up call. Society doesn't want you to have this knowledge. They want you docile, confused, apologizing for being strong, and begging for love that should have been mutual. But if you've ever loved deeply and been left empty, if you're ready to stop bleeding for people who wouldn't even hand you a bandage, then you're ready for the Stoic relationship blueprint. It's filled with raw, timeless truths that will rewire how you show up in every relationship from this day forward. And now, it's available in audiobook form, so you can let these principles sink in while walking, jogging, or building your best self in silence. No more guessing, no more regrets, just clarity, power, and peace. The link's in the comments. If you're truly ready, comment, "I choose clarity over chaos." Like this video, subscribe, and help this message reach the men who need it most.